So my name is Melanie Coeshott. I am a coach. These days I am a self-styled career coach. And what does that mean? Do I do career change? Do I do career management? I do a bit of everything, anything career and work related coaching. And my background is that I was an accountant for a number of years. And I did lots of different accounting and finance roles, managed teams, worked in large corporate environments, worked in an accountancy firm in audit for a while, had loads and loads of great experience. But actually, what I really loved was working with people and helping to develop them. And so over time, I veered my career in that direction. And now I help other people manage their careers most of the time. Well, I don't think anybody needs a coach, but I think that coaching is such a powerful interaction that can help any of us get even better. And actually, if we think about sports people or whatever, those sports people, they've already got really far along, or they've some of them are at the top of their game, or fairly high up. But coaching can give them the edge. It can help them revisit some of the assumptions that they've been working on, or the beliefs that they've got. And so we can use coaching as well in our work or in our lives to do the same thing to help. So what kind of challenges do people typically bring? Well, I suppose it's a little bit like being a GP. People bring different symptoms to you, or they present with certain problems, and that can be what they need help with. But sometimes there are other things that underlie those as well. So things that I typically get presented with are, maybe changing a job, maybe trying to get a promotion, maybe actually they've got that job or new promotion and they need to grow or expand into it. It could also be about improving relationships with people at work, or dealing with conflict, or how to manage their team. It could be any of these different kinds of problems, challenges that they bring along. And often, those are things that we work on, but there might be some other threads in terms of self-confidence or self-esteem, imposter syndrome, resilience, some of those more underlying things that might be getting in their way, causing them to self-sabotage a bit. And sometimes some of these things are just like holding them back. And they might. So trust is something that's obviously very important when you're deciding how to work with somebody or to work with somebody. And a little bit like we were talking about going to a doctor, presenting a problem, you need to feel confident and comfortable with somebody to be able to trust them. And coaching can feel quite vulnerable at times. Certainly from being a coachee sometimes, or a client, I know that I need to feel 100% comfortable with the person that's coaching me. Being curious, not just asking a set list of questions, but actually getting to know that person, feeling like I really understand what's going on, and asking those questions because I'm interested, not because I think they're the right questions to know, or what you might be expecting me to ask, but being curious. And I say that it's having my curious hat on, so almost being like a kid or asking some of those questions. I would say that's probably maybe dependent on my style, maybe dependent on what you're looking for from coaching. Some coaches have a style that's more supportive. Some coaches have a style that's more challenging. I would say I'm much more on the supportive side of that spectrum, but that doesn't mean that I don't ask questions that are challenging. And it doesn't mean that I don't ask questions that aren't thought-provoking as well. So I wouldn't be asking some of those questions if I didn't already have the right rapport and trust. And it would be based on contracting and permission that we will have done upfront in the coaching relationship. But sometimes the coaching can feel quite vulnerable, and sometimes that in itself can make it feel a bit uncomfortable. And actually, sometimes that vulnerability and that discomfort comes from questions that really maybe we've been avoiding, or questions that could be really useful and powerful for us. So I think coming to coaching with an open mind is important, but it shouldn't be a painful experience by any means. So what kind of results might you get, or what kind of outcomes might you get from coaching with me? Well, there might be some tangible things in terms of, you might land that new job or get that promotion or figure out what it is that you really want to do. So there might be some more tangible things, but there are also some other less tangible things. So things like increased confidence, or some new insights about yourselves, or new perspectives about the situation that you're in. Sometimes it's about learning more about your motivation, learning more about your why, or clarity of what you're aiming for. So sometimes there's less tangible benefits, but hopefully all of that is a really positive outcome. It's not, you're not going to be going backwards or realizing that you're in the wrong career or something. The outcomes would always be of a positive nature. So what's it like being coached by me? Well, that's an interesting question, because I've never been coached by me. But what I can say is that I have some clients that keep coming back over a prolonged period of time, or maybe we'll work together for a period of time, we'll deal with certain things, and then they come back and we start working together, on something else at a future period. The feedback that I've got has always been very supportive, very inspiring, very encouraging, offering new insights, things like that. So overall, a positive experience. But yeah, that's only from my, from third party validation, not from my own personal experience. We don't always know what we want exactly. So it's not like, right, that's where we're going and that's the journey and we're going off in that direction. But I'm not going to dismiss what you're saying as well. So it's an important part of the puzzle. It's just not the whole story. The second step is I use a tool called motivational maps. And I use this in all of my coaching relationships because it gives me some great insights about you, but it also gives you some great insights, maybe some things that you weren't aware of, or maybe clarity about some of the things that you were aware of, and maybe a framework and some terminology and things like that. So motivational maps is really useful in looking at what motivates you, and also how well your different motivational drivers are being satisfied today or not being satisfied. And all of that can give me and you some great clues as to what needs to happen next. Okay, so what does a typical coaching program look like? This is a little bit of a piece of string conversation, because I've had one client that worked for me for almost 4 years. We've literally just stopped working together. And I've had other clients that have come to me for, I think the shortest was a period of 6 weeks. She just applied for a new job, and we met weekly or twice a week in some weeks as she was preparing her application for the different parts of the interview and then into her new job. So it can vary quite a lot. And again, it's very much dependent on your needs at any particular time. How long do I meet for? So some of my sessions are 30 minutes. My typical sessions are an hour, and some of my sessions tend to be up to 2 hours. So this would be the first session, the diagnostic session, where I'm using motivational maps, where we're exploring a bit more about who you are, and what it is that you're looking to achieve. And so once we're up and running, typically we might be meeting every 2 weeks or every month, but there could be holidays or there could be work trips and other things that get in the way. So it's very much dependent on what it is that you need and the pace that you want to keep moving on at. So if any of this has resonated with you and you're intrigued to know more about how coaching could be for you and what you could get out of it, how you could benefit from coaching with me, there should be a number below. Please call the number and get in touch for a chat.